and I'm going to, oh, there we go. And I am going to leave the PowerPoint and go to our website. All right, so as you can see here, newreaderspress.com, this is our home page. And I wanted to call attention, even before I start sharing resources, to a couple of different areas that I hope that you will take advantage of. First, not foremost, but first, at the very top, as we move across the page, you'll see it says here at the top, find a sales rep. And if you click on find a sales rep, heck, you don't even have to select New York State if you don't want to, because I'm the second one down under Alaska. Yes, Alaska. But you could also select the state and choose New York. It's the same contact information. My phone number, the toll-free number here in Syracuse, New York, and fax, and my email address as well. So you can contact me easily just by going to our website, find a sales rep. And there I am. That's one. The next thing I want to call attention to is just underneath it. And that is that you'll see all of these different umbrellas for adult education. And if you mouse over any of these, you can see that it opens up here under adult education: core reading, supplemental reading, pleasure reading, writing, phonics, grammar, spelling, vocabulary, math, teacher resources, and so on. And then here is where we'll be spending the brunt of our time this afternoon, and that's under HSE test preparation. And then you would simply click on it, or mouse down and go to pre-HSE or GED test prep. There are a couple of different ways you could do it. Before we do that, I also want to call attention to this big rectangle in the center. Here you have our May special, which just coincidentally happens to be 10% off. I'm going to go back to that. 10% off select GED test prep products. And it gives you the promotion code to use, whether you're ordering online, which you are welcome to do, or calling in to our customer service department, or calling me. And any one of those is perfectly acceptable. But then just mention that code. And we almost always have a monthly promotion. But there are other things that will crop up too. Here, a blended learning guide that I'm going to perhaps visit just a little bit later on, talking about the news for you and news for you online, and it keeps going. I find it a little bit annoying myself. Have you ever been to the McDonald's or the Burger King or any of those fast food chains where you walk in and they ask you what you want to order, and just as you're looking at the menu, it changes screens? Boy, that drives me nuts. Okay, somebody's going to have to remind me not to go down rabbit holes, because I am guilty of going down rabbit holes like that. All right, so we're going to scroll down, and you'll also see here professional learning opportunities. And if we click on this box, professional learning, it'll open up a calendar and show you upcoming webinars, upcoming conferences, and so on. And you'll see here, for example, on the Thursday, May 26th at 4 p.m., we can click on this and it'll tell us about it. Help students master the skills needed for TABE success and beyond. And it'll give you a description and time. And you can copy this to your calendar and sign up for it. So lots of different things here that are helpful on our website. And I just wanted to be sure that you see just how to navigate. And if you scroll all the way down, then you can see other places here as well: how to order, requesting a catalog, requesting a sample, looking at pro literacy, our big sister. So all of that information on our website. Okay, enough said there. What I'd like to do now is actually go to high school equivalency test prep, and I'm just going to click on it, click, And now underneath it opens up pre-high school equivalency, and then GED, high set, and task, which is no more. We just haven't taken it off the website yet because there are still a handful of programs that are taking advantage of it and ordering it for whatever reason. So it's still there. But we're going to begin here today on GED test preparation. I'm going to go ahead and click, and then scroll down. One of the things that you'll want to get used to on this website is scrolling down, because there's a lot of hidden information. We are making improvements to the website, and it will soon outshine our old site. But right now it requires just a little bit of work and is not as intuitive as we'd like it to be. Just thought I'd put that out there. But when we scroll down, you can narrow categories by GED study indicators, CCR standards, English, Spanish, reading levels, and so on. And here we have a list of all of the GED products. Score Boost for the GED, which is available in both English and Spanish. For those of you who have been using for years now, in fact, almost a decade, our Score Boost for the task workbooks, one of the advantages that you'll have is the methodology. The format is the same. So if you know how to use the Score Boost for the task workbooks and have enjoyed them over the years, you'll be very comfortable with Score Boost for the GED workbooks. There are, however, a few advantages that the Score Boost for the GED workbooks have. One is that it's offered in Spanish. So we have them both in English and Spanish versions. A second advantage, and now I'm going to click on this. You can click on the picture, you can click on the title, either one will get the job done. Click. And as we scroll, now it shows the individual books, of which there are 8. There are 2 for writing, as you can see here, sentence structure, usage, and mechanics, extended response and reading comprehension. These, by the way, are sold in 10 packs. So to order one of these, you would be ordering one 10-pack, all of the same workbook. And that's how this works. So there are 2 for writing. There are 2 for critical thinking. There's 1 for critical thinking for reading, science, and social studies, a second for data and graphic skills for math, science, and social studies. Scrolling down, you'll see, as it was with the task workbooks, there are 4 workbooks for the math, for the GED. Now I'm going to click on one of these to show you a bit more. So click on Score Boost for test, GED test fractions, decimals, percents, and proportions. And you'll see it gives you all the information here. But again, the key is to scroll down. And once you've clicked on an individual title and see this big book here, scroll, because just underneath it, you'll find a look inside. And clicking on it, click. We can look inside. We can open this up to full screen. And the advantage here, this, by the way, is a downloadable PDF. Okay, so that it's a downloadable PDF is nice, because if you're like me and you like to hold things in your hands to read them instead of looking at a screen when you can help it, and without making a total waste of paper, you can photocopy this. So it's just a sample, but as we move to the next pages, one thing I like is, all right, you're considering, is this going to fit my program? Is this going to help my learners? What's inside? So here, and this is true with nearly everything that we have on our website, when you click the look inside, you can find the full table of contents, and we can blow that up too and take a bigger and take a better look at it. Oops. But here you have full table of contents. You can see here in this particular workbook, there are 3 units, and there are strategies, 2-page lessons. So they're kept very short intentionally, and And the lessons are direct instruction or explicit instruction. I'll show you that in just a moment. But after each strategy, at the end of each unit, there's a unit practice before moving on to the next unit. And then at the end of each workbook, there's a GED test practice and answers and explanations given in the back of the book. In the beginning of each workbook for Score Boost, it shows the students the item types that are found on the GED test. So the fill in the blank, drop down menus, drag and drop. And then if you see here at the bottom, after you complete each unit review in this book, you can go to scoreboost.newreaderspress.com. Why? To practice answering GED test questions in electronic format. So that's the other advantage that I was alluding to earlier, and that is that with the GED Score Boost workbooks, not only do they get to do a unit practice in the workbook itself at the end of each unit, but they can then go to a website using this URL, create a free account with just their email address and a password that they create. There is not a charge. There will never be a charge. It's just a free website. And I'll show that to you. And for each of the workbooks, they'll be able to, unit by unit, do additional practices. And those practice questions will mirror, they'll mimic the types of practice questions that they did in the actual books themselves. It's not the same question, but it's the same type. So it may not be apples and oranges, it could be tomatoes and onions, but the same work is being done. So they're working on the same skills and strategies. And that's great. Just added practice, and it's online and it's free. So here's what a typical lesson looks like. I mentioned 2 pages. At the very top, you'll get an introduction, an explanation of the skill or strategy, right? Then you'll get at least 2 clear examples with step-by-steps and solution given, right? So you get the explanation, and then you get modeling of this new skill or strategy. There are think features that I like because they can be used as, in my opinion, think aloud strategies, which I find very helpful. And these think alouds are written in such a way as that the learner, the student, is almost thinking aloud. I need to find the average of the 3 amounts. Finding an average is a 2-step process. I should add the amounts and then divide by the number of amounts. So I really like that think feature. There are test-wise features as well from lesson to lesson. And then after they've walked through with the modeling and guided practice, then on the next page, they apply it. And it's independent practice with the work. And this is basically how the book is set up. Here's another example using the calculator to solve problems. And as you can see, again, the explanation, modeling, and guided practice, and then independent practice. Now you try it. Right? And here in the back, the GED test practice. Again, there are unit practices as well. So that is how Score Boost is laid out. And here, as we scroll down even more, going back to the Score Boost page, as we scroll down more, you'll see, as I mentioned, scrolling is a big part of our website here. The free resources. There is Score Boost for the GED test, right? How to use it. There's a pacing guide for Score Boost for the GED test. There are crosswalks from our print materials, Score Boost being one of them, to our New Readers Press online learning program. Right? And this is the URL here, the link, Score Boost for the GED test online practice. And let me quickly show you what that looks like. going to share a new screen and I'm going to sing la la la. All right, here it is. So when you click that link, it will take you to this URL, test question practice portal. And you go ahead and just create a new account. And then you put your password in and you log in. I'm going to click log in. And this is what the practice portal looks like. As I said, it has practice questions for all 8 of the workbooks. You can click on any one of these and it'll open it up and it'll give you unit practices to support the work that you've done in the actual workbooks. Also in the same portal over here on the right is writing for the GED test with reasoning through the language arts, science short answer questions practice, and then practicing with other prompts. And this is actually tied to our writing for the GED test books 3 and 4 that goes into the extended response. So more free practice, and all here on the test question practice portal from New Readers Press. Okay. Let's go back to the New Readers Press website. Here we are. Correlations provided as well here, the score boost for the GED test correlations. And again, you simply do that by clicking on one of the books, then scrolling down. Look inside, keep scrolling, description of the product, and then the free resources. And you'll almost always find something there. All right, so going back, that is the score boost for the GED. I will make note here for you that although the score boost for the GED workbooks are in both English and Spanish, the free GED score boost online practice is in English only. There's not a Spanish version. Just so you're not searching in vain for it. All right, so that's score boost. Next up here, writing for the GED test. And I'm going to click on it. Click. You'll see that there are 4 books. This too, by the way, if you'd noticed, is offered in English and Spanish versions. And there are 4 books. Writing for the GED test, book 1 is for grammar, usage, and mechanics. Book 2 is reading comprehension for both fiction and nonfiction. Book 3 is the extended response. This is the biggest seller. You shouldn't be surprised to hear. Everybody wants to know about that, the prompts, the extended response. And then the 4th book, practice prompts for the RLA extended response. So clicking on one, I'll go to this one here, writing for the GED test book 3, extended response. And here, following that same procedure, the look inside and click, and it opens it up for us. We can go to full screen. We can get a look at the table of contents, and we can see there's the introduction to the extended response, unpacking it, scoring rubric, and then a 3-part process: reading and analyzing, planning and writing, checking and revising. And then at the very end, practice the extended response with model extended responses, tools, answers and explanations in the back. Really put together well with a step-by-step process that really does help learners score as high as they can on this extended response. Really unpacks it well and describes it. And the 3-part process helps them get the highest score that they can on the 3 passes that are involved in scoring using that rubric. Analyzing arguments, guided practice, watch outs, good use of graphic organizers. And here, these are just sample pages. You can really get a good look at this. There are over 30, crying out loud. Did they put the whole book in here or what? Over 40 pages here. Scrolling down to free resources, I wanted to definitely point this out. Once again, a crosswalk, a curriculum crosswalk to our New Readers Press online learning platform so that you can create a blended learning plan and environment for learners. Extended response answer guidelines, and an extended response graphic organizer. Again, these are all free resources that you can download and or print. Correlations are here. And then here, if you click on books 3 or 4 and scroll down, you'll see videos. Clicking on videos, several years ago, we worked we collaborated with Pearson, GED testing services, and created these 9 videos on the extended response that refer often to the GED writing series from New Readers Press. And this was at the request of GED testing services. So really well done videos that you can use to support the work that your learners are doing using the writing for the GED test books. All right. Let's see what's next. Next, our MathSense series. I'm going to click and once again show you. Here we have 3 MathSense books. Book 1, a focus on operations. 2 is on problem solving. The 3rd on analysis. Let's go to problem solving. You can go to any of these. Click. And then a quick look inside. Open that up. Table of contents. And what I want to point out here is that in addition to the skill work that's being worked on and the instruction in the books, there are 3 specialized lesson types throughout the series. And you can see that they're highlighted in blue. There are problem solver pages and lessons. There are tools pages and lessons. And there are test taker pages and lessons. In the back of the book, oh, well, before I go to the back, you can see that there are unit reviews. At the very beginning of the book, there's a skill preview, which is, well, a pre-test. It's basically what it is, to take an inventory of their skills, where they may need more or less remediation and instruction. And then they go in and they go through the book. There are unit reviews and mixed reviews. And then at the end, there's a simulated GED math test in each book with an answer key and a glossary and a robust toolkit too, calculator basics, basic computations, formulas. Here's the layout, an introduction in the beginning that explains the features in the book. And then the skill preview, the pre-test that is. And then going into the lessons. Here's one on powers and roots. Orders of operations. The basics of algebra. One thing I like about this series is in the beginning of each unit, there's math talk, which I like because it really it takes math vocabulary and relates it to everyday life. You may know these words and use these words, just not in a math sense or conversation. So it just helps them relate math and math talk to everyday experiences. Here's a good example of a tools lesson, the rules of exponents. Simplifying radicals, and on and on. And you'll find that the tools will show them how to use the calculator, will show them how to use the protractor, and so on. Scrolling down again to the free resources, lots of free resources here. Crosswalks, a pacing guide for the series, simulate, in addition to the GED, simulated GED test at the back of each of the MathSense books. There's also simulated task tests that we haven't pulled down from the website because it's just more free practice, and a simulated HiSET test. Now, the math is very much the same because it's high school equivalency test prep, but the way that the question may be asked and the item type and the way that the question is answered will vary, and that's where you'll see the difference. If you don't think that students will find that confusing, or you can walk them through that and say, you know, appreciate this for what it is, more practice, but be advised it may look differently on the GED test. Hey, it's more free practice. And then I wanted to call attention to this as well, and that is down here at the bottom, a TABE study guide. Clicking on it, the TABE study guide we put together, and it's basically a guide that will enable you to analyze your students' individual profile reports, those IP reports for the TABE 11-12, and then looking at where they need more work, more remediation for next steps, you would line them up with the materials. So here would be the standard. So on the IP report, it would say, all right, so here are here's the standard that needs to be worked on according to the student report. And here's the description of that standard. And then it will show you, here are New Readers Press resources giving you the title, the item number, the page numbers, where they can work on that skill or standard. And this TABE study guide, just really great. And it covers all the bases from language to reading to math, and at levels E, M, D, and A. That's the TABE study guide. Free feature, it's hidden. Again, you've got to scroll down after you've gone to a specific book, but under those free resources, just a plethora of helpful materials that you can use, and they're free. We're done with MathSense. I'll say a few quick words about bridging English language learners to GED test prep. There are 3 of these books, and they are not for the students. They're teacher resources, and they show you specifically how to use the New Readers Press GED test prep resources with your English language learners. Okay, that's what these books are for. So if you're thinking, oh, I've got I've got an ELL class, and they need test prep for the GED, I'll just order one of these for each student. Don't do that. It's all you need is the teacher's guide, and then it will show you. What you need to do is order our New Readers Press resources, and this book will show you how to use them and relate and help your English language learners relate to the material. Going down to the bottom, yes, still more. And I'm not going to spend much time on these. But you have social studies for the GED test in both English and Spanish. You have science for the GED test in both English and Spanish. I'll just open up quickly and show you the social studies. We'll look inside. Table of contents, civics and government, history, economics, geography and the world, practice test and answer key in the back, laid out very well with hints, guided practice, and a think it through feature in many of the lessons, which in my opinion, again, is a great opportunity because it's more or less like a think aloud kind of a feature. And I like think alouds. Science is very much the same, but it is beefier. You know why? Because it's science and there's just no way around it. But again, free resources below. You're starting to get the idea, so I'm going to start to speed things up. But this is how you would navigate. The Kaplan GED test prep book. It's from Kaplan, but we are an authorized vendor, and so you can turn to us. What I like about the Kaplan GED test prep is that it is extreme. It's very comprehensive. It's an all-in-one book with over 1,000 practice questions. And there are 2 full-length practice tests for all of the subject areas. There's one in the back of the book, and there's a second one online, a diagnostic pre-test. This is very, very robust. There's a GED test prep pacing guide is a free resource down at the bottom. And what I like about the book is exactly what I dislike about the book. I love the book because it is very robust, because it has so many practice questions, because it's so comprehensive, and for that reason it makes it a great book to order. But depending on the type of learner and depending on your program, you may not appreciate an all-in-one that's basically a New York City phone book. Students could find it intimidating, or they may not need the entire book, and you may want to break it up and attack their needs, in smaller bites, as I've been showing you thus far. So again, different strokes for different folks, but we have the bases covered. That's the Kaplan book. The next thing, and we're almost at an end here to the GED test prep print resources, is this book. This is a neat little book, Short Lessons in U.S. History. You'll find that I've seldom brought this to conferences because it's always the first one to disappear. And anybody who buys one will, who gets one as a sample will never buy one, because the whole book is reproducible. It's copyright friendly. You can copy it. Short Lessons in U.S. History, and it is exactly that. Let's look inside here. This isn't a book that I would use from front to back, but it is a book that, were I a social studies instructor, I would go to and say, you know what, I'm looking for a lesson on the colonies, or I'm looking for a lesson on the Civil War, or I need something on Harriet Tubman. And so this would be a great go-to, and then just take that one lesson and you could use it, and you could photocopy it for your learners, instead of having a whole book that you might not go through. But I'll show you how this looks. Short lessons. So here's a lesson on the new nation. With key vocabulary in the margins, critical thinking practice, review work. Nicely done. Okay. Short lessons in U.S. history. And the last one that I want to call attention to is a favorite of mine. It's calculator practice for the GED. This little diamond in the rough is a consumable workbook. $46.50, that's for a pack of 10, so it's just under $5 a book, $4.65 a book. We'll look inside quickly. And here, getting to know the TI-30XS calculator, taking the GED test, and then it breaks it down. Number sense operations, rational numbers, and bit by bit, lesson by lesson, function by function, takes the learners through all of the functions that they'll need to master in order to use this Texas Instrument calculator for the test. There's an answer key in the back. And then on the back cover, and I want to call special attention to this, additional practice with New Readers Press resources. And that's on the back cover of this book. So what I like about this, a number of things. One, step by step and very visual with clear examples and step by step, and then practice. So it's explained, modeled, guided practice so that they get to work with each of these new functions. And then, as I pointed out, on that back cover, after they've worked through the book, you can reference the back cover, and there's a little a chart there that will show you now to work to have more practice with these types of problems on the calculator. Go to Score Boost, this workbook, these pages, right? Go to Math Sense, this book, those pages. I like this. That's the calculator practice for the GED test. And you can buy them with or without. There's a special deal if you buy them with the calculator 10 packs that we sell as well. And they're priced pretty competitively. All right, so that was our GED test preparation on our website. And I won't spend time here, but I will simply call out that we have pre-HSE as well. So if I click here on pre-HSE, we can look at a lot of these titles that you're already familiar with, I'm sure. Our visual literacy series, our pre-high school equivalency workbooks, none of these have changed. Our building a strong vocabulary for academic prep, for social studies and science, and you'll find all of these titles here as well. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to do is talk about our digital solutions. And here up at the top, digital solutions, we'll click and scroll down. And I want to start by talking about New Readers Press online learning. I've mentioned it a few times already. I'm going to click on it. And you'll see here quite a few pictures. Why? Because our New Readers Press online learning on one platform has multiple courses. There's a pre-HSE course, a GED test prep course. These are the ones that we'll talk about today, but also TABE and HiSET. We've removed the task, but we did have task as well. All right, so I am going to go back to my PowerPoint because I'll be able to share better and stay on time and on track if I use this PowerPoint. So here we go. So here's the New Readers Press online learning for pre-HSE and GED. It's 2 courses on one platform. And that means only one learning management system for administrators and instructors to learn, and the same basic course features for students, so they can move seamlessly from the pre-HSE to the GED, or they could work in pre-HSE and GED courses simultaneously with just one username and password. So very easy. Our new TABE courses for reading, language, and math, as I mentioned, are now on this platform as well. I'm not going to talk about the courses today, but for those of you who would like to learn more, as I pointed out, on the calendar on our website, there's going to be a webinar at 4 p.m. on Thursday, May 26th, that you can sign up for if you just go to the website and go to that calendar. So the pre-HSE course is adapted from our core skills series. Instruction is delivered at a 6th to 8th grade reading level, and it's aligned to the college career readiness standards, which are assessed on the GED tests. The course is designed to prepare learners for at-level GED instruction by strengthening fundamentals and application skills in math, raising their reading levels and improving writing fundamentals in reading and writing, and mastering the content, reading skills, and vocabulary in social studies and science. The GED courses are aligned to the assessment targets and offer test-specific at-level instruction for those students who are ready. So you have the pre-HSE, which prepares them for it. Then you have the GED courses, which are at-level instruction for those who are ready. This platform is flexible. It can be used in a variety of different ways by a variety of programs to fit a variety of instruction models. It provides personalized learning, empowering the students through highly interactive features, pacing guides, and a lot more. And it's accessible around the clock on computer, tablet, and smartphone. The online learning course can be used in the classroom for group instruction, can be used for distance programs, virtual classrooms, for independent study, maybe to expand the capacity of your program, maybe to serve learners on a wait list, or for blended learning, a hybrid model incorporating the print materials with the online solution. Students can download a free mobile app, so they'll be able to study anytime and anywhere. They can even switch to airplane mode and work offline, which is nice because they're not using data. And then when they go back online before closing the app, their work syncs and all the time in progress is saved. That's a nice feature. So what's in it? Well, it's got analytics that provide useful information for both teachers and students alike. Interactive content, it's more than just reading and listening, and it better engages the learners in myriad ways I'll discuss here in a few minutes. Guided practice, offers tips, develops critical thinking. Interactive study tools like online note-taking, highlighting, bookmarking. And for the pre-HSE courses, there's audio support, which is huge. Adaptive flashcards for vocabulary building. 4 different games for more engaging review, pardon me. Self-assessment and review, and I really like this feature that lets students take ownership of their training, and 24-hour access. And that's what I call a recipe for success. So the students quickly learn to navigate the online learning course with ease, and there are instructions to get them started, tutorial. Each of the 4 courses, math, reading and writing, science, and social studies, begins by walking the learner through all the features they'll use so that they can hit the ground running. And then next, a pretest shows their prior knowledge, the strengths and weaknesses, and it sets the stage for learning and ongoing assessment. A structured study plan moves them through the course, starting with a unit introduction and objectives, and then it dives into the unit's lessons. Each lesson is followed by vocabulary practice using flashcards and then practice questions that are based on the lesson. So lesson, vocabulary practice, practice questions. And then there's a unit test that will help determine whether they're ready to advance or where they need to review. And there's also a post-test.
Greg, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
When you were talking about the pre-GED online platform and the GED prep or the GED prep online platform, and that you can like start at the pre-GED and work your way up through to the GED one.
Yes.
My question is, do you have to buy additional seats for them to do that? Or is it like one seat you buy?
That's a really good question. And the answer isn't black and white.
Okay.
But I'll make it as black and white as I can.
Okay.
So there are, in fact, two different contracts for the purchase. But all that means, and I'm going to hit this toward the end, all that means is that if you have both contracts, then your learner, whether she or he is in the pre-HSE courses or the GED courses, is only using one seat. It's just one seat. It's called concurrent licensing, and it means that the number of seats that you purchase reflects how many learners can be online working at the same time.
Okay.
Right. So you could sign up 1,000,006 students, and if you bought a concurrent license for 25 of them, then of those 1,000,006, 25 could jump on at the same time and be working. The 26th and beyond who try and get on when there are 25 currently on will receive a message that says all seats are currently being used at this time.
Okay.
So there are X number of seats, but you can have an infinite number of students who are using those seats. There's just a bar that's set as a maximum. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Thank you.
Okay. And thank you. That's a great question. And let that be an encouragement and an invitation to anyone who has a question. Feel free to jump in and interrupt. Okay, so when the students log in, they start on the home page. There's an adaptive course calendar with daily goals and course completion target dates that tracks the progress and serves as an effective pacing guide for the students. There's a next button that takes the students to their current study task in the structured plan. And every task is assigned a certain number of knowledge points. So when students complete a task, they earn knowledge points toward their daily goal. 25 is the goal in this example. You can see there, red. 1 knowledge point equals roughly a minute of study time. And this is neat because students could use this as a time management tool for study as well. So today's knowledge goal is 25 knowledge points. Okay, so I've got to study roughly 25 to 30 minutes in order to hit my goal for the day. Providing more than just linear instruction, the menu in the course allows students to follow the structured course. It allows them to access and complete work assigned by their instructor if the instructor takes that path, and they can participate in private and/or group discussions facilitated by the instructor. Students also have the option to revisit lessons, flashcards, practice questions, and tests at any time to study the topics. And as I mentioned, there are 4 different games that make review fun and motivating. Now, as the students work through the lessons, helpful tips, give examples or add context. In the pre-HSE courses, these include vocabulary tips. In social studies, connecting the past to today. Also, real world connections, helpful hints, math facts. In the GED courses, interactive features like interpreting sources items, walk them through how to analyze and interpret passages, pictures, graphics, maps or other data to answer the social studies test questions. And for all the courses, guided practice checks understanding and facilitates critical thinking, and providing or hiding hints and answers with just a simple click. So again, interactive, it's a key word. A toolbar in the top right corner of the lesson features interactive study tools, which allow the students to highlight, bookmark, and make notes. A toolbox includes one or more of the following, depending on the subject and the course. It could be there's a calculator, the periodic table, formula sheets, a sketch pad, scoring rubrics for writing. Audio support for the pre-HSE courses improves reading fluency and can help bridge the gap for struggling readers and those transitioning English language learners. So I like the audio support. It is not available at the GED level. We went back and forth with that and finally listened to our customers. It wasn't overwhelming, but the majority said, yeah, at the GED level, we're okay without the audio support. So, and there are also videos here and there as well, mostly in the pre-HSE courses I will share. So, I mentioned that I like this, and I do. Rating their confidence before moving to the next page of any lesson and then seeing a recap of their work will help the students decide whether they need to review or they're ready to continue. I like this feature, self-assessment. How did you feel about what you just read? Are you comfortable with it? Do you get it? Do you kind of get it, or do you not get it? Because they can come back later and based on their rating, their self-assessment rating, they can say, show me the lessons that I indicated a low confidence rating for. And then that's how they can go back and study. Well, and see, I jumped the gun. Here it is. Students can make the most of their review time by targeting those low confidence level areas and then going back to their notes, going back to bookmarked lessons, to highlighted texts. Really, the way that this is set up, it helps them become better students and better learners. They can use their practice question and test dashboards to track their scores and review the questions that they answered incorrectly. They can even reset questions by clicking on reset category for the practice questions or reset test. And you can control this as instructors or administrators, because as we know, sometimes a student will take a test or the practice questions, get 1 out of 25 right, and then decide, oh, I'm going to start over and do it all over again without even any review work. Maybe get 2 more right, who knows? Or maybe miss the one that they answered correctly the first time. So anyway, the previous test scores are saved for assessing work and measuring gains. So even when they reset, those previous test scores are saved so that they can look at the before and after. Now for the teachers, the learning management system, the LMS, allows them to access the course content, initiate and monitor discussions using the study dashboard. The reporting dashboard lets them customize the study plan for students, access instructor resources, send messages to their students, view progress reports at the individual student, class, and institution level, and even download detailed time on task reports. Real-time downloadable session detail reports that are filterable by class, student, course, and date range provide time on task for distance learning and for funding requirements. Capturing more than just the session time totals, they show exactly where student time was spent on tests, on practice questions, lessons, vocabulary cards, games, even showing their idle time. Onboarding, actually pretty easy. Know how I know? Because I can do it, and I am inept when it comes to things like this. Administrators can quickly and easily create classes and add instructors and students. They can also upload multiple classes, instructors and students using a CSV file. Frequently asked questions, quick start guides, comprehensive user guide are available in the support section of the program or on our New Readers Press website. And there are training videos and sessions that we also provide as well. So you can get the training videos, and before we get anybody started up, we say, let's have at least 1 or 2 Zoom sessions. Or if you're lucky enough to be close to me, I could even come out and do it in person. Might cost you lunch, liquid lunch. We'll talk about it. So we talked about the pricing. We use the concurrent licensing model. It basically means less money and less hassle. So instead of purchasing a seat for every student who's going to be enrolled in the program, you pay only for the maximum number of the students who will be logged in at any given time. So no more worrying about unused seats, no having to revoke licenses and then reassign them to other students. Doesn't matter. There is a way, however, to deactivate a student if that student has left the program. And the good news is their data won't be lost, and you can reactivate the student if they come back to the program. But by deactivating them, then you can just have that certainty that, well, they won't be taking up a seat and going in on their own time, even though they're no longer coming to our program. And that, at a breakneck speed, was New Readers Press online learning for the pre-HSE and GED. The second one that I want to talk about quickly with the time that we have left, and I think I might have time for questions and to go live and show stuff if I hurry, is Learning Upgrade. Learning Upgrade is an app for math, literacy, life skills, and test prep that gives each student her or his own path to learning success. It couldn't be more different from our New Readers Press online learning platform if it tried. Very different. Effective, yes. Is it for everyone? No. But there you have it, different strokes. And so let me show you a little bit more about it. So it's available on almost any device through the web, smartphones, and tablets, just as the online learning is, and so that students can learn anytime and anywhere. It began as a small creative team of teachers, musicians, artists, programmers, with a goal to transform lives through innovative online courses. They were transformed, this group, by an experience in 2017 when they entered the Barbara Bush Foundation Adult Literacy X Prize competition. Watch this quick video with me.
Millions of adults wake up every day not able to read or write. Can a smartphone app help adults make a literacy breakthrough? 2 years ago, Learning Upgrade set out to answer that question. Our creative team of teachers, musicians, artists, and programmers partnered with literacy programs in our hometown of San Diego. We worked to find a winning formula for smartphone literacy success. The result is a breakthrough app called Learning Upgrade, which is now available in smartphone app stores. This learner-centered app features 300 English lessons sequenced to help adults to make breakthroughs every day. Each lesson is filled with music, video, games, and rewards to make learning fun and keep learners coming back for more. To rapidly improve the app, we enrolled over 1,000 adults. Participants included English learners, refugees, and migrant workers in adult schools, library literacy programs, and community centers. By talking regularly with learners and instructors, our team quickly figured out the needed changes and released updates. The result is an app that has proven effective with adults, with documented gains in CASAS reading scores. Now, as a team in the Barbara Bush Foundation Adult Literacy X Prize, Learning Upgrade is expanding access to thousands of learners across the U.S. Can a smartphone app help adults make a literacy breakthrough? At Learning Upgrade, we are proving that the answer is yes.
Folks, 4 years ago, when this was introduced to us here at New Readers Press, and I sat on that committee, I was skeptical. I looked at it, I listened to it, played around with it a little bit, and I said, you know what? It's kind of corny, kind of hokey. I don't know. I don't think this is going to resonate with all of the adult learners. They might find it too kiddish. And if they don't, I'll bet some of the instructors are going to chafe at it. Well, I wasn't wrong about the instructors, but I was wrong about a lot of the learners. Overwhelmingly, and it had to be proven to me over time because I am one stubborn goat. I had to look at the data and the time that the students were spending binge learning. Ridiculous. What is it that's so appealing? They enjoyed it because it's musical, because it's gamified, because it's non-threatening, because they were experiencing success and they were motivated and they were getting on. And we looked even at the hours. When are they getting on? They're getting on in the doctor's office, waiting for an appointment, at the bus stop. Many of them after 11 o'clock at night, insomnia, sitting there, instead of playing Candy Crush, and they were on and learning and improving, and their gains spoke for themselves, just spoke volumes, and I took the wind out of my sails. I had no argument left. So, this was the largest field test ever done in adult ed. It included 12,000 learners to see if an app could get measurable gains for low literacy adults. That's how it started. Learning Upgrade had the highest gains. Adult learners in both ESL and ABE programs can rapidly upskill using this platform. Let's take a little bit closer look at content. So what began as a literacy app has grown to offer courses now in English, basic level up to an English 5, consolidated reading and comprehension courses. Each course, by the way, has 59 lessons and then a post-test, I guess is what you'd call it. The 60th lesson is to show mastery, a mastery checkup. Mathematics, work and life skills like digital literacy, and test prep, which is why I'm talking about it today, because of the GED reading, the GED math. I will also say that as you go up in levels, it's still gamified, there's still music and videos, but because of the content, you'll find that there is a change, and it's still fun and engaging, it's just not as hokey. With 22 courses and over 1,000 lessons, Learning Upgrade is able to maximize student engagement through that binge learning I'm talking about, with fully interactive, standards-based content from a beginner level to high school equivalency. And the learners will soon be able to access 3 new courses for work and life skills, which is coming next month, financial literacy late summer, and citizenship in the fall. And that's the other amazing thing. Well, I'll get there in a second. So when students log in, they can choose whether they're working in or out of class, making recording of proxy hours for attendance simple for tracking and reporting purposes. So you can see, are they working in class when they're supposed to be, or are they actually binge learning and doing this outside of the classroom? And you can tell the difference. The GED reading course prepares learners for the reading, writing, social studies, and science sections of the test. The GED math course prepares the students who are almost ready by reviewing important skills, and again, with fun, interactive, engaging lessons. There's a great learning management system for teachers and administrators. I was going to say robust, but I've said it about 100 times. I have to find a new word. Teachers will be able to have unlimited access to all of the courses and lessons with what they call a teacher whiteboard that can also be used for instruction. They'll be easily able to view activity logs, report cards, monitor student progress. What else? Assign and modify course and lesson pathways for the students. They can send direct messages to the students through texts, emails, WhatsApp, and even print certificates for the students as positive reinforcement of their achievements. Every seat purchased per student includes all of the courses available. Here's what I was going to say, and I say, well, I'll hold off on that. I'll say it now. So those 22 courses, soon to be 23, math, English, digital literacy, work and life skills, GED math, GED English, one seat, and the seat gives you access to all of those. You might have a student working in just one English program and one math, but as they graduate, they can go up to the next one. A seat is a seat, right? So one seat does all. Teachers also need a seat to utilize the teacher whiteboard, but when they log out, that seat becomes available again. So a license is needed for each student, but Learning Upgrade knows that the students come and go in adult ed. So they've given us the ability to turn student licenses on and off. And this can help you manage the seats that you purchase to stay within your budget effectively by removing access to students no longer enrolled, or who may be taking a hiatus and saying, well, life happened, I'm going to be away for 3 months, or whatever that may be. But you can turn their access off and give access to another student and still have the balance of that seat for the year. That's a really nice feature as well. I know I raced, but I wanted to leave a little bit of time for any questions, and we have all of about 3 or 4 minutes. Again, I want to call attention to our website, promotion code, and invite you to call on me. So, find a sales rep, email me, give me a call, and ask not only about the print resources, but, Learning Upgrade and online learning, those digital resources, I can offer to your program pilots for free with no strings attached. If you're an instructor, ask your coordinator or your director or your SUP or your principal, ask them, hey, can we do this? And reach out to me. I'll give you a demonstration. And if you're interested, I can do a 90-day pilot, and you can sign up as many learners as you like, so that before you spend the money, wow, yeah, we can't wait, or you know what, I'm glad he gave us the pilot because it doesn't fit our program. Haven't encountered too many programs that have said it doesn't fit, but we want you to be sure. So please reach out to me. Questions, comments?
I have a question, Greg. I
Yes.
really like the Learning Upgrade. That is pretty cool stuff. I have a question about, is that, so they can download that to their phone, correct? Or no? Is it a phone app?
It is, in fact.
Okay.
In fact, you can, both of them are. Learning Upgrade and Online Learning. They are both phone apps. You can use them, of course, on the internet, on a laptop. You can use them on a tablet, a Chromebook, an iPad. You can use them on a phone.
Okay.
I have them on all of those devices. So.
Okay, so I have a question. You had said that, if someone leaves a program for a few months and comes back and you turn them off and then you turn them back on, it's saved all their previous work, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, all right. So they're not starting from scratch again.
Correct. And this is true once again for both programs.
Okay, so the Learning Upgrade app, is there like a pre-test that places them, or does the teacher assign placement?
Great questions, Lisa.
Thanks.
Both are true.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a placement chart that you can use, and you can cross-reference TABE or CASA scores,
Okay.
EFL. So you can look at their scores and then determine this is the course in which we want them to begin. Or there's also, for the Learning Upgrade, you can start them off with the placement. So English placement, and instead of assigning them a level, assign them the English placement. So that the first thing they do when they log in and start is they take this placement, and then based on their score, it will enroll them and say, congratulations, you're starting in English 4. You're starting in Math 7.
So here's another question. In the placement process, does it take like a half an hour or an hour to complete that placement, or can it kind of gauge fairly quickly?
It's not timed, Lisa. So
Okay.
there's not a limit where they'll be timed out and say, you took too long, you're starting at the basic level.
Right.
And so it's going to depend on the learner, of course, but I would say roughly 20 to 40 minutes,
Okay.
no longer.
Oh, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Does anybody else have questions?
Questions?
I have a question, Greg.
Yes.
In order to do the Upgrade Learning app, do you have to be enrolled in the online learning? Does that come together?
Nope, they are separate. We do have a crosswalk, in fact, so that you could cross-reference and say, you know what, we have students working in both. We're doing the online learning in class. We're doing the Learning Upgrade outside of class. And so you can cross-reference and say they're doing this lesson today and they're using these books, our Journey to Success series or the Score Boost for the GED series. Based on that information, we have a guide that says this is what you're doing and here's how you can make a full blended learning plan. You can even say, if they're doing this in online learning, what can we give them in the Learning Upgrade that will sync so that they can have use them in tandem, and vice versa.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Any more questions? All right, Greg, this was wonderful. Sign me up for the Learning Upgrade to start out with.
Thank you, Lisa.
Definitely.
In all seriousness, if you're interested, let's talk. Just shoot me a quick email, say, Greg, get me started. We'll have a brief session because you folks have already seen it for yourselves, but we'll have a brief session because we do have to jump through hoops and say, okay, we've done a quick demonstration. Now I'll get the particulars from you and we'll sign you up for that pilot. And that's where I think that's what I think is key. Try it, because in most cases, after a month or so, after 3 weeks or so, users already know, gee, very low engagement. They just didn't, they don't love it. We thought that they would. Or sign us up now. We're ready. Well, don't, get the full 90 days for free, but great, we'll put in the purchase order. We'll do whatever we want to do. Take your 90 days free. and yeah, let's get you moving. But we give you all of that to get you started. We give you the training. We show you how to engage the learners. We make sure you know how to enroll students and how to use the LMS. So we don't send you in there to fail, even for a free pilot. We set you up to succeed.
Great. Well, thank you, Greg, for everything. And thank you everyone for participating. And please reach out to Greg. He's got some great products there, and we definitely appreciate all that New Readers Press has done for us over the years and this year. And thank you so much, Greg.
We appreciate you folks in the trenches. Without
Thanks.
you, I mean, seriously, for what you do in your communities, for what you do for adult learners, it's a tough job at times. I'm sure it's rewarding at times. And I'm sure there are other times when you're scratching your noggin saying, how many more years until retirement?
Right.
But, you're to be commended, and thank you for your sacrifices and for all your hard work. So.
Well, thanks, Greg. And everyone, don't forget to do the survey at the end. And Greg will be talking. Have a great day, everyone. Thank
Thanks,
you.
you too. So long, everyone.
Bye.
Bye now.